Hello, people. This is Anonymous Recap, and today we'll be talking about something I find to be very interesting. And by the way, I hope you all are having a nice day or a nice time, depending on the time you are seeing this video. Today, we'll be talking about something I found to be very important, and I also believe it is of a great interest, of a great interest to each and every one of you. It is known that we often refer to the economic and development problems of Africa as a problem of extreme poor governments. Despite our awareness towards this fact, the problems are either the same or get in most cases confusing. So on this video, I will place my emphasis on some notions about the use of words and its meaning, all frequently used by political class to differentiate between a crime committed by someone who serves as a public servant against the ordinary citizen. It is meant to understand that by willpower, not recognized by the Constitution of Nigeria, the political and rich class of the so-called country Nigeria are born with a golden spoon called humility. Before we reach the end, I will start by explaining what exactly it means to be a thief. Stealing is referred to as the activity of taking away people's belongings. It's just a way of taking away people's belongings without permission or having the legal right to do so. Whereas looting is a kind of stealing, typically during a war, a riot, a national conflict, political unrest, and more. People tend to secure their valuables in order to keep them away from the eyes of thieves, and thieves themselves are referred to as people who take away someone's belongings without their permission. Generally, thieves steal when the owners are not around. Mugging and robbery or even looting comes under the definition of stealing. So most times we view them to be the same, but they all are the same but occurs in different period of time. Stealing is done in order to take away the valuables so they can be sold or used by the same person who stole those valuables. The person referred to here is the one who committed the stealing. And the person who carries out such an act and makes a living out of it is known as a thief. Generally, by stealing money is generally preferred by professional thieves because they can use the money for various reasons. In stealing, a thief sometimes may or may not hide their identity, and sometimes owners speculate or owners are aware of those who stole their valuables. Just like in the case of Nigeria, most Nigerians knows the ones stealing the money or stealing the country resources or stealing from the country's pockets. In so many ways you wanna say it, it is still stealing. Stealing is stealing. A thief is dishonest. Someone, whoever you can mention, whoever you want to talk about that gets engaged in such activities are dishonest. And we all know that most of the politicians we have, I want to say majority of the politicians we have in this country are dishonest. And there are no two ways about it. They are dishonest and does the things they do intentionally. And if someone takes away others' belongings by mistake, then it is not regarded as an act of stealing as the person did not intend to steal. In society, theft is discouraged and treated as a criminal act. Of course, it is a criminal act. And for the case of Nigeria, it is a criminal act, and that title is attributed only to the poor or the less connected persons. If you're not connected or you're a poor person and you happen to find yourself in such situation, you will be referred as a thief. Whereas if you're a political individual or political entity, of a political class or the rich class and you happen to find yourself in such situation, then you will not be regarded as a thief. You'll be regarded as a looter because most times people tend to see looting as a different or a high class stealing, but not the same or does not demand the same punishment as those who steal from other people or other individuals. But let's just face the fact stealing is stealing. Whoever it is, whether you are a political class or from a hierarchy or from the lower masses, wherever the case may be, stealing is stealing. And like we all know, looting is an English word and it is very easy for us to understand. But in Nigeria, they make it look like an acceptable act, whereas in truth, it is not. You can refer to looting by saying that it's a kind of stealing. Of course, it is usually done at the times of war, riots, political unrest. It is also defined as taking away the belongings of others forcefully. In situations like war, thieves takes advantage of the situation as people tend to leave their belongings behind. And the victims of this who find themselves in such situations are the weaker ones, and things can be easily snatched away from them. Just like it seems very easy to snatch away national treasures, wealth, and resources away from the people of Nigeria and Africa at large. In case of riots and unrest, shops are generally looted as the crowd gets involved in the riots, and some people take undue advantage of the situation. Looting involves taking things by power and by force, and this power can be obtained from various sources like military, political, war conditions, or catastrophe. You can name it. There are so many ways these powers can be acquired. In war, the victorious army generally loots the place. Loot was an integral part of the Roman triumph, where they considered looting as a source of great happiness, just as the Nigerian political class also see looting as a way of enriching themselves, and in so doing, it is a source of happiness to them. During a disaster, it is very difficult to prevent looting. In natural disasters, sometimes people loot in order to meet the basic necessity of life. A powerful person loots the weaker one, just like the politicians of this country loot from the people. Historically, there are various and vast examples of looting that took place not just in Nigeria, in every other part of the world. But for example, the biggest one so far that has been recorded, but I believe that not to be the biggest because the biggest ones were never even announced. It has been hidden, even though the political hierarchy or the political class are aware of this to be the case and the fact. By the way, this is no conspiracy theory. This is the fact. I'm giving you the fact and the open fact. The Abacha one has been the biggest recorded loot so far in the history of Nigeria, but that is not the biggest. The biggest looters and every other existing looter might get away with their crimes as long as they are loyalists to the political class. And that is humanity, unconstitutional. But these are facts. You should understand. I mean, these are facts, not conspiracy theory. Because humility is not in the constitution of Nigeria. The, these politicians go away with every crime and every atrocity they commit. That's just one tiny unveiled truth after death. The reason why Abacha case happens to be this way is because he is not alive. If he happens to be alive today, trust me, this wouldn't have been a case to discuss. The reason why it happens to be a case today is because he is no longer alive and the family might have been out of favor by the so-called political class. These are facts, not theory whatsoever you might want to see it as. Don't forget, this is Anonymous Recap. And here we spit out the truth. There are no favorism to any political party or any kind of government or in any form or in any way. We spit out the truth the way it comes, and that is it. Let's take, for example, if a child in a school intentionally takes away a pencil of another student without asking for the permission of that pencil from the person, the rightful owner of the pencil, then it is also regarded as stealing. But looting is generally referred to stealing tropically during a war or a riot. And in looting, most of the times, expensive items are concerned. Expensive items are what people tend to look for. Stealing is generally not associated with any involvement of power most times, in most cases, not in every cases, not in every case, if I may say. Whereas looting is mostly associated with usage of power, like we see in Nigeria. The reason why these people go ahead to do the things they do is because they have the power. They feel that they have the power to do as it pleases them. Thus, in a nutshell, we can say that looting is a form of stealing, but generally involves more people conducting the loot in a situation like that of a war, a riot, a national conflict, political unrest, and so on. Now, since we have various sections under the Force Criminal Investigation Department, FCID, which include the following: Arms Fraud Section, the Central Criminal Registry (CCR), we have the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, the SARS. Of course, we still know that the SARS might have been banned, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow you might not hear about the SARS being accepted and regarded as one of the registered or recognized policing force in the country. Of course, it is possible. We also have the X Squad, the General Investigation Department. We have the Special Fraud Unit, SFU, the Legal Section, and the Interpol. With all these departments being recognized in the country, my question is, how many political looters have the country policing department been able to prosecute for all the billions in dollars they stole? I understand that this set of people are protected by the same set of people meant to unveil criminals, public theft, and political criminals. But to what it seems, most times it is confusing to me and many others, not just to me, also to you guys. I know it is confusing. There could be another constitution. It could be there is another constitution written all for the political class themselves, the rich class of the country, that the common masses don't know about. I often, on many cases, tend to ask myself, is there a constitution that is solely meant for the political and the rich class for themselves? Because they tend to say the kind of things we say in the country. It's uncalled for to believe that they are acting based on the constitution, which is publicly known to the people. In Nigeria, the political or rich class can afford to pay to inflict injustice and prevent justice. They pay to inflict injustice and also pay to prevent justice. Okay, whereas the poor has to pay to get justice and also pay and also are meant to pay a huge price to avoid injustice. And when you don't have the money to do these things, when you don't have a connection or the resources to buy your way out in such situation, you become the victim. I mean, a serious victim. This is the story of Africa, Nigeria, and my question remains the same. How many political looters have the country's policing department have been able to persecute for all the billions in dollars they stole? This is Anonymous Recap. And on this platform, we try to ask questions. Of course, we deserve the answer of every question we throw to the government. I have never in my lifetime seeing a situation that has been carried out forcefully, diligently by the so called Nigerian policing department. I have never, in the history of my time as an individual, seen a case whereby a political thief has been persecuted. Please, if there is any, you tell me. The case of James Iborin is different because I don't want to see that as a Nigeria investigation or a case that was carried out by the Nigerian government. He was actually persecuted for money laundering by a foreign institution, not by the Nigerian government. So this is anonymous recap, and your contribution, in as much as your opinion, your critics, is well needed. I would try as much as I can to bring videos, good quality videos, once in a while. So that will be all for today. I hope you all stay safe, good, and have a nice time